good shots on that mortar will have, and Lijunhh will have to retreat his mortar before it is lost. One mortar crewman is already dead. And now the armored car is joining in to really lay in the final bit of fire. Finally, Semois FG-42 firing up. And my goodness, riflemen are moving straight in front of this building. Oh my goodness, they're just getting torn apart. And my goodness, they were trying to recruit the anti-tank gun. Oh my goodness, an entire rifleman team is lost in seconds. That's just terrible. And looks like these chaps are not looking too good either. Desperately holding out from the church, but not having much luck in their efforts. In fact, we'll have to retreat. There we go. Only one rifleman makes it out of there alive. And Panther battle group, well, going to be needing a lot of manpower for that. Americans are getting ready. Tank depot is up. In fact, let's go have a look what he's getting. The Sherman tank. Always good to see. The M4 Sherman, and getting the 50 caliber upgrade. The standard version, there was of course a later upgraded version which was referred to as the EC8, although it did not see the battlefields before the time of the Battle of the Bulge. So of course question is if that might be ever seen. There you go. M4 Sherman ready to take the field, moving out. Could of course get a second Sherman to really increase the amount of firepower available. No, instead going for a Hellcat, M18 Hellcat. Of course seeing a lot of more Hellcats now. And of course some might be wondering, well, why is that? Well, there's a sort of issue with the M10 Wolverine. It's due to a sort of animation problem resulting in some shots just being misfired. So, and of course the M18 Hellcat does not suffer from that. So in fact, a lot of people are using the M18 Hellcat, and they are more or less the same, except the M18 is a bit faster, can cloak, and does not have the same amount of penetration. So in fact, is in most parts better. Armored car though coming into a lot of problem with this Sherman, might in fact be cleared out. Or apparently the armored car does seem to have a bit of luck there, but for how long I cannot say. Sherman exposing the rear to the mortar. Oh, that's not good. We'll have to turn around. And riflemen once more getting torn apart by Fallschirmjägers. Field repairs are up, but the Sherman will have to turn around. Come on, Sherman, turn around. That's not good. You don't want to expose your rear to any sort of anti-tank. And what is this? M18 Hellcat clears out the second mortar. My goodness. The only thing left now are those tank busters, and they could be cleared out easily by those Sherman guns. But my goodness, riflemen are taking quite a bit of fire from incendiary rounds. We'll have to get them out, and that was extraordinary. And retreating, there we go. A lot of command points ready as well. Might get a Calliope, might get a Pershing. We shall have to see.
Our forces are taking casualties.
And we are of course seeing fresh riflemen being sent out. Fallschirmjägers acting as a bit of rear guard, in fact getting and to drop on one of those rifleman teams, clearing them out in seconds. Good job, Fallschirmjäger. You truly are the best. But now they are coming under fire from the Sherman, and a forced retreat. My goodness, that was close. But the rest of the Panzer Lehr, now sort of more ad hoc Kampfgruppe, partly composed of Luftwaffe troops, gets ready to move out again with Fallschirmjägers, and of course the 17th Luftwaffe Felddivision having sent in some troops as well. Heavy machine gun firing a bit away here, heavily damaged though, and we are seeing some American mines there as well. But again, awfully few mines really here that could again make quite the difference. Engineers repairing the Sherman. An M18 Hellcat also with Veterancy 1, in fact. No, the Sherman does not. Of course, Veterancy 1 increases the speed, but that's it. Veterancy 2 usually increases penetration, and Veterancy 3 damage. Of course, there we go. The Panther battle group being sent in from the Panther regiment of the Panzer Lehr. That is not going to be a happy situation for the American commanders, even with that anti-tank gun. Of course, there will be plenty of munitions to use on armor-piercing rounds, and of course field repairs, but still I doubt that shall be enough. perhaps to deal with those Panthers, unless, of course, the commander, Howdoyoulikemeknow, is a complete idiot and decides to just have them stand with the rear to the American anti-tank assets, and of course the American might be winning. Otherwise he should be able to pull off a good victory. I think in this case Sherman opening up, Fallschirmjägers coming under fire, waiting to not send in those Panthers quite yet, waiting for the right time, perhaps now with the Sherman exposed, and of course the American assets and complete armor assets completely focused on the Fallschirmjägers. There we go, Panther moving in, getting a nice shot on the Sherman, mortar rounds flying in as well. Panzer Shreks and Fallschirmjägers moving in from the south as well. Sherman quick to get out of there, linking up with the Hellcat and the anti-tank gun. Panthers moving in from both sides. Incendiary grenades being dropped on the church. This church is taking quite a bit of fire now from the west as well. My goodness. Rifleman forced retreat, taking quite a bit of fire, might be torn apart. And we are hearing reports of infantry team lost, my goodness. And the Americans are not pushing through with their armor, instead hanging about a bit, not entirely sure why. Although it looks like this Panther might be moving in. Oh dear, straight into the line of fire of all this. Huh? That was a bit weird. Just standing there, there we go. Shot to the side, but it bounces off. No armor piercing rounds. Not entirely sure why he's not using armor piercing rounds, really. The anti-tank gun becomes that much better, can pretty much penetrate anything and does more damage than a King Tiger. And now T7, the Hellcat is taking quite a bit of fire from the Panther, my goodness. Second Panther also on the spot, and we are seeing a second Hellcat out, but it's caught right in between the two Panthers and a tank buster team in the church. Oh dear. Main gun is destroyed. Americans trying to charge in, but they are getting torn apart right out in the open. Engineers getting cut down. Hellcat and Sherman are trying to salvage things, but they are not looking good. The Sherman once more exposing this side. Anti-tank gun firing up. Is he using armor piercing rounds? I cannot say. Does not look like it. And Fallschirmjägers, my goodness, the Sherman is lost. Accurate Panther fire knocking that out. Leaving behind only the Hellcat to survive the situation, if it does, that is. Rifleman getting torn apart by Panzer grenades, and Fallschirmjägers anti-tank gun cleared up by the Panther. Leaving behind only the M18. And there we go, the killing blow delivered by one Panther. Leaving behind very little infantry for the Americans. He could have gotten a Pershing, but his resources were wasted too quickly, so sending in it now will just be a death sentence. So there you go. I do believe this is the end, my friend. The Panzer Lehr has secured victory, and there you go. The fight is over. Howdoyoulikemeknow has secured victory for the Panzer Lehr, crushing the American defenses. So, what can we learn from this? Well, if you have a lot of munitions as the American lay down some mines, my goodness, that could really have made a difference so many times over if that central point in the town had been mined, but sadly we never saw that. And of course a slightly nice heroic silhouette pose from the Panther, anti-tank unwrecked in the foreground with a Sherman in the rear. And of course a burning machine gun right at the end. Other bits, of course, having focused as infantry as well, a bit more might have also yielded better results. Grenades might have yielded better results. Generally there seem to be some good ideas, but never a really proper execution of them. And of course floating so much munitions and never using it. Again, really, mines could have made such a greater difference here. I mean, the Panzer Lehr commander, of course, himself at several points had troubles with an infantry, and some mines could really have exacerbated that beyond belief. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this fight. If you did, why not subscribe or tell your friends? And if you didn't, well, why not send in a replay of your own? This is Imperial Dan saying, do remember to lay down some mines. Cheers.